Hey, Joe Martin here. You've seen our commercials over the years, and you may be wondering, what's in it for me? Well, ITI Technical College has been selected by Forbes magazine as a top 32-year college. But even more than that, the reason we do this is you. Our tagline is, for a better life, and we mean that, for you to be able to have the life you've always dreamed about, to do the things for your family you've always dreamed about. And it can begin here, where we are dedicated to your success, because here at ITI, the reason we do it is you.
This is Sports 225 with Lee Feinswag, and I'm Lee Feinswag. We're in our 24th year, if you count Sports Monday and Sports 225, and the only way that could happen is, well, it's my show.
My best friend, Lee Feinswag, look at the Christmas.
Sports 225 is brought to you by Breck. And now, me.
It's almost live. Well, that's a first. Started the show while Matt Moscona is actually doing Instagram. Of course, his Instagram will go up before the show airs, but nonetheless, it is Sports 225, and my guest is Matt Moscona.
Sup, dude?
You know, Matt does a number of things. Most importantly is every Tuesday at 4:15 he has me on as a guest for about 15 minutes, and we talk about little sports, very little sports, and a lot of beer. Every week I try to provide him with a good beer take.
That's true. You do that.
Yep. And so are you sending Instagram as we speak?
This is an Instagram story. So I'm posting that video on my Instagram story. So if anybody wants to see it, they'll see it there on my story.
Tell people how they find Instagram.
Well, you just download the Instagram app.
Yeah, but how do they find you?
Do you realize there's 500 million people in the world that have Instagram? Got to be there, man.
How do they find you?
I just search my name. I'm there. Matt Moscona, lots of vowels.
There you go.
Moscona. John's got it on the screen.
I've got an account, but...
you should do more.
Yeah, I don't.
I'll teach you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
He teaches me a lot. But I wanted to...
Apparently, I haven't taught you anything about fashion. That's terrible.
You know,
oh, my God.
A Patagonia shirt that is going to draw attention. Now, somebody flipping by the channel sees this baby and goes, I got to check that out.
Oh, my God.
You got things up on your shoulders talking about making fun of people.
It's called fashion. It's style.
I don't think so.
My wife is the most fashionable person I know, and she bought this shirt for me. So if you have an issue with it, take it up with her, because she knows way more than you, me, John, all put together about fashion. She dressed me. I didn't buy anything I'm wearing, literally. All the way down to my socks and my underwear. I did not buy anything I'm wearing. She buys everything for me.
All right. I buy everything of mine. So besides...
that's a problem.
3 to 6, Monday to Friday. Let's just tell the people all the things that you're doing. Let's start with this podcast you do with Ryan Terrio.
We'll do a radio show.
Right.
Terrio and I do the podcast on Tuesdays. We do it live at noon.
What's that called?
The Riot Podcast. So Terrio comes on with me on Fridays. And it's irreverent. It's fun. We talk some sports and all. But it's got, for some reason, a weird following, because he and I have good rapport together. I do a Facebook Live morning show called Morning Scone. I do a podcast called...
You brushed through the Terrio podcast too quickly.
Okay.
You know...
it's an extension of the radio show we do on Friday, essentially, because that started with him when he retired from baseball, coming on Fridays for like a segment to preview the weekend series in baseball. And then people liked it, and a segment became 2. And then 2 became an hour during baseball season. And then it was like, hey, why don't we do this into the summer as well? And then he wanted to extend it in the fall and make it year-round. So we did, and we kept finding ways to make it creative, and it's just become really popular. And then an hour became 2 hours, and now...
And just in case anybody doesn't know this, Ryan Terrio, a Baton Rouge product who played a great Major League career, including scoring not only the game-winning College World Series clinching run for LSU, but also twice in Major League Baseball.
He won 2 World Series in baseball, but in the 12 series for the Giants against the Tigers, he scored the series-winning run in Game 4 in Detroit. So anyway, but he's a great friend too, and we have a good time. And so because what we do on Fridays has gotten so popular, it's like, how do we expand it? Well, it's hard to do that on my show, per se, the radio show. So Distribution's amazing. Just create content whenever you want, put it up. So we do a podcast on Tuesday. We Facebook Live the podcast, and then obviously post the audio as well.
Okay, and where can they find that? Do they go to iTunes and look for
it's under the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge podcast.
Okay.
If you
I'm trying to help you out here.
No, I appreciate it.
Whatever. So,
Subscribe
all right.
to that.
So then every morning,
and on the Facebook page.
And now, if you're bored every morning, you can wake up and
I do a morning scone.
Are you trying to hit the same time every day?
It's about 7:30 we fire it up, 7:30 Central
And you
time.
put that live on Facebook?
Live on Facebook. It's mostly just answering people's questions. I kind of had I thought I had a template for how I wanted to do it. Just sort of me talking for 10 minutes, then I'd upload it to YouTube and Facebook. But it actually works so much better doing it live and letting people interact with it. And then throughout the day, people will continue watching it and the numbers will build. So, but it's been fun. And it's kind of a glimpse into my home in the morning, and my son's there, so Drew always messes up with the camera and creates chaos. I think more people watch just so they can see my son create chaos in my life, mostly because when people watch the radio show or listen to the radio show, I say watch because it's on TV too, but you understand, but like you very much as a host, like the number one rule is never lose control. Like you've got to be in control of your broadcast, which is why I come here and just totally try to screw with you because it's very fun to do. But and likewise you do with me on Tuesdays. So, but anyway, so it's I think fun for a lot of people to get to see Drew just
right, and he laughs and he's got a great laugh.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. So. And then also, you're doing even some post-game Facebook Live.
Yeah,
when LSU plays football.
Yeah, so I do the pregame show on Eagle 98.1 Game Day. First year I'm doing that with T-Bob Abear. So 5 hours before kickoff, T-Bob and I are on together for 5 hours leading right up to kickoff. And then post-game, Jordy Collada and I, as soon as clock hits 0 on the LSU games, we fire up Facebook Live on the ESPN Baton Rouge Facebook page, and we do about a 90-minute show called Whiskey and Wine, where I'm drinking whiskey and he's drinking wine, and it's what you would imagine with two guys late at night who've been drinking all day would sound like talking about a game.
There you go, the Empire. The media
and
empire.
I write for Gridiron Now and the Action Network.
What is the Action Network?
I'd say it's a sports betting site, but you don't go there and place bets. It's essentially the idea is to make gamblers smarter. And so they always want content how bettors could get to know the teams and the games that they're betting on better to make more informed decisions. So they asked me to contribute content about LSU.
Now you know that Matt Moscona doesn't buy his own clothes and everything
I pay for them.
Oh, I know that.
But I just don't go shop for them.
When you wear that ESPN stuff, you don't pay for that.
I do, actually.
Really?
Yes.
They don't buy you clothes?
No. I go to the outlet store, buy them, take them to Red Stick Sports, they monogram it, go.
All right, there you go.
So I do pay for that.
That's
Gordy Rush, stop being El Cheapo.
You know, for a guy who had to fight him for 3 years for a new chair, you're not going anywhere with that.
True.
So anyway, there goes the first segment of the Matt Moscona promotional hour. And when we get back, we'll talk sports. I'm Lee Feinswag at Sports 225.
Hi, I'm the human dislike button. You may recognize me as the guy who enforces rules at Breck Parks. Check out my amazing presentation. Did you know? Motorized vehicles are not allowed in Breck Parks. Sales and solicitation are prohibited without permission from Breck. And my favorite rule, keep Breck Parks clean by placing all trash in trash cans. Come on, you can do this. For more information about these and other Breck rules, please visit breck.org/HDB.
All right, we're back on Sports 225, otherwise known this week as the Matt Moscona promotional half hour. Thank goodness the show's not an hour like it used to be in the old Sports Monday days.
Ching, ching.
There you go.
Wait, this isn't Sports Monday?
And, was it Sports 225 and it became Sports Monday, or is this Sports Monday became Sports 225? You forget.
I thought I was on Sports Monday. The recliners and everything.
Were you ever on the old Sports Monday?
I'm on Sports Monday right now.
Oh, you're killing me. No, really. Were you ever on the old Sports Monday?
I am on Sports Monday.
By the way, you had LASIK surgery, and it's really freaky to look at you because you got these two red dots on each side of your pupils.
So I'm 2 weeks out,
yeah.
And so there's a little redness that's normal for several weeks. But man, it's amazing. Shout out to Williamson Eye Center, Dr. Blake Williamson. Did an awesome job, and it is amazing. You wear glasses, but have you ever thought about it?
No, because my situation, I think, is a little bit different. I didn't need glasses until I got to that point with the drugstore readers, and they kept getting farther and farther apart.
They have 8 different interventions.
Yeah.
So no matter what your eye issue is, there's something that can help you. I learned so much going through this process. It's amazing.
Well, and then in my case, these are not trifocals. They're called progressive, and I have multiple pairs. I've gotten kind of used to them. I kind of almost like wearing glasses. I don't know. It's hard to describe.
Okay. I like being able to see. It's amazing because I was blind as a bat.
See, I was 2015 in my left eye and 2020 in my right eye, all the way up until late 30s.
Good for you,
And then I got an astigmatism in one or whatever. So, and I only played baseball up to a certain point, like 15, 16. But I was a good hitter, and I think part of that was because, you could see the ball coming off. And then the few times as a young adult did trap and skeet shooting, I was really good at it, and I credit that to my eyesight too.
Probably so, man.
Yeah.
I started wearing glasses in the 6th grade, so I've been blind my whole life, basically.
Yeah.
So I had to wear, the reason I started wearing contacts was sports.
There you go. You were a lineman. What difference did it make?
Well, in baseball, too.
Okay.
Played a lot of sports. I was a pretty good athlete. I didn't suck. You go to LSU and you look at these freak shows and you realize, why a guy like me would never go as a scholarship, Division I athlete, but I didn't suck. I had a scotch of athleticism and actually, was a varsity starter at a 5A school and played pretty well. And
Word not normally heard on Sports 225. Scotch.
Scotch.
I like that.
Not to be confused with scotch. They're different.
I thought of a different story, but I'm not gonna go there.
Why not?
Anyway,
is it about scotch?
How things in? No, I don't drink scotch actually. Do you drink scotch?
I'm not a big scotch. I love.
Like me, you're a bourbon guy.
I'm a whiskey guy. I love. I don't love Scotch whiskey though. I like bourbon whiskey. I'll do Irish whiskey, rye. I like lots of. I've never really developed a taste for scotch.
Meanwhile, back at the show called Sports 225, should we talk about any sports?
Nope.
No? Okay.
Oh, we can if you want.
Yeah, that's all right. The topic of the week, of course, would normally be football. And as we're recording this, LSU's going into play a football game against Ole Miss.
Yeah, they are.
And you haven't been on the show yet this year. The last time you were on was in the end of last spring. So You and I have not actually technically talked about what you thought LSU would do going into the football season. So you always wait till right before the opener and make a prediction on your radio show. You always wait till the last minute. What did you predict?
I picked 7-5. I said they would lose to Auburn, Georgia, Bama. And then there were 4 games that I said they'd split. I said they beat Miami, which they did. I said they'd lose at Florida, which they might. I said they'd lose to Mississippi State beat Mississippi State and lose at Texas A&M. Win the home game and the neutral site game, lose the road games.
So your revision then, would it only be 8-4?
I think so. And there's a lot of people I think that would be upset with that because LSU's been impressive, obviously, in winning those games. But I think also you have to keep in mind they were still down 11 points in the 4th quarter at Jordan-Hare Stadium, and they managed to rally. Give them a ton of credit for that. Hell of a comeback and an amazing win, and all the feel-good around town is warranted because that's 2 great wins. And you're still in line for everything that you want to achieve. And I could make a case for LSU winning every game remaining on the schedule except Alabama. I could maybe even make a case for that one, which we can do if you want. But I could also make a case for LSU losing every game except for Rice and Arkansas, who are both poo. So they'll win those 2. But I could make a case for them losing any other game. So it's probably going to come down to they're going to have some more really, really nice wins. They're going to have some disappointing losses too. And I don't think they'll beat Alabama and Georgia.
So far he said scotch and poo.
I did. I said poo.
Poo.
I like poo as an adjective. I do. I think it's effective. It's punchy. People don't use it often enough. But it's effective in communicating the message. If I say Arkansas is poo, you know what I mean.
They weren't. Is that a noun?
Yeah.
Okay. He's Matt Moscona. You can watch him and listen to him on the radio every day from 3 to 6 on 104.5 ESPN. And for those of you down in New Orleans, it's 100.3. And for those of you not here in one of the 18 states watching this on Cox Sports Television, you can get an app. And
can I shout out Alexandria as well?
Sure. I don't think they see us in Alexandria, but Cox Sports TV up in Alexandria?
It's got to be.
Okay, I guess
it's
it would
everywhere.
be. Yeah, it's in Cox. I was thinking in terms of Cox 4.
94.7 ESPN Alexandria. Thank you.
I spent a month there one weekend.
Why would you say that?
It's true.
You said that the day I launched Alexandria.
I know, I remember that. I did tell that story.
And you told
so
that.
I was covering the SWAC.
So mad
I was covering the SWAC baseball tournament.
Dog. I pick up the first day I pick up an affiliate on the town. Can you believe that?
Good try. John, make a note. Make a note at whatever time this is to try to bleep out a barnyard epitaph from Matt Moscona. First one since the first year Ricky Blanton said it on live TV without even realizing it, just real soft and easy and whatever. And he didn't mean anything by it, and you did. Yeah, no, it was a SWAC baseball tournament in around 1987, and it was supposed to be a Friday to Sunday, and it was Friday to the following Saturday, I think, because of all the rain.
Oh.
It was so bad that I kept my hotel room up there a couple of nights and actually drove back to Baton Rouge and went back and forth just because it was no way. It's the first time I ever saw a helicopter come on a field to try to dry a field. Yeah. They brought gasoline. And have you ever seen that one?
Yeah, they burned it. Yeah.
Oh my!
That'd be creepy looking, man.
Oh, it was like the scene out of Apocalypse Now. You know.
Never saw it.
So I can't even salvage this break. Let's just take it and
Good. Do it.
We'll be back. He's Matt Moscona. I'm Lee Feinswag at Sports 225.
Hi, I'm the human dislike button. You may recognize me as the rules guy for Breck Parks. Sometimes the rules slip past us, so I put together this amazing presentation. Did you know? Golf practice is only allowed at designated golf facilities. Firearms, explosives, and weapons are not allowed on Breck property. Metal detecting is allowed in some parks, but go to Breck's website to learn more about this and other park rules. For more information, visit breck.org/HDB.
Oh, we're back on the poo hole that is Sports 225. So Matt Moscona in the last segment, I have to remind myself. So it wasn't. So the first year, really, it happened one time, and that was live. And then one time in a taped show, Scott Rabelais was here, and I did say a bad word, which is amazing. In 24 years, I've only done that one time. And I laughed so hard, and luckily I could go back out and beep it out. But I mean, I just laughed so hard when I did it, I couldn't. It was terrible. So here's one I want to throw out for you. And I know it's a while away, but you mentioned LSU, Alabama, and I was actually kind of surprised at how Alabama steamrolled Texas A&M. I didn't think that they just the whole thing's just amazing. The machine.
A&M needs players. They don't have players yet.
Yeah, but LSU's at home. And home matters so much in college sports and especially college football. And they've played Alabama tough. Now, what is making you think? Why are you?
2 weeks ago on Eagle 98.1 Game Day, the pregame show, when LSU was playing at Auburn, Michael Cobble, our friend from WBRZ, came on and made the argument that home field advantage is a farce. That doesn't matter.
You can look it up.
Which is the most asinine thing
ever.
And he was serious. He thought that the argument of home field advantage is so overplayed and it doesn't really matter.
Michael, go do a Google search. Right? Am I?
Just look at wins and losses at home based on the road. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I was like, would you rather play Auburn in Tiger Stadium or Jordan Hare? Well, that's your answer, man. Come on. But yes, I agree. LSU's played Alabama very tough, which is when I was saying in the last segment, I could make a case. Athletically, LSU is the closest match that Alabama will face all year, until they get in the playoffs.
And is LSU's defense? We said going into the season, LSU has a good defense, but it's probably better than we thought. Is that fair?
I don't know yet because they did give up 400 yards to Louisiana Tech, and Southeastern.
You could make
gave
an argument.
Them trouble.
You could make an argument that LSU was lucky to beat Louisiana Tech, especially from looking at blitz, because there were a couple plays there.
Let's not waste time with that because if LSU when they felt threatened and needed to put the pedal down, they did again and they won by 17. But with 3 points in the fourth quarter, I get it. That's uneasy.
Okay.
But when Auburn went tempo, that gave Auburn scored 3 times in 4 drives, and the time they didn't score was the end of the half, and that's when they went tempo. So LSU struggled with tempo. There are things that this defense still has to answer. I don't think they have great depth on the defensive line, and they got a giant question mark opposite Greedy Williams because teams are just basically looking where 29 is and saying, okay, we're going to throw over there. And so far, Christian Fulton and Kelvin Joseph haven't been good enough to lock down guys on the other side of the field. And this week with Ole Miss, this is going to be your toughest test so far because they got 3 NFL receivers.
No, this is a guy who not only watches the LSU football games live, but then watches 2 different broadcasts, replays.
Yeah, I'll go watch a replay. Yeah.
He'll watch 3, in essence, you know.
So
your recall for it is obviously better than most.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the thing about Ole Miss this week, like LSU is a 2-touchdown favorite, and they should win. And they should win easily, because Ole Miss's defense is terrible. But I also look at LSU's offense. I go, you're 106th in the country in total offense. Like there's a reason, and you can say, well, they take their foot off the gas, or hey, they've played 2 top 10 teams. That's true, but you also played an FCS school in Louisiana Tech. Like those are stat padding games while you have an average. And your average is awful. It's no different than what it was under Les. You're winning the same way you did before.
They're running and passing identical percentages.
There's no semblance of balance in this offense. They are showing more spread, RPO, Wildcat. They're being more creative, but your results are essentially the same of what you're seeing.
And speaking of Ole Miss, Matt scored a good one the other day on his radio show. He had Hugh Freeze, the former Ole Miss coach, come on and capsulize that. And people can go to archive that, right, and see.
Yeah, just go to 1045ESPN.com. Go listen to the podcast. There's a link on my Twitter. But I thought Hugh Freeze was great, and he obviously is a guy who's an offensive mastermind, sort of the new age of offense. And he's a guy that beat LSU each time they played that series in Oxford. He lost 3 times in Baton Rouge, but won twice in Oxford.
Wait, you saying the home team won?
Right. They flip-flopped for those years. They absolutely did. But, I think what was telling is him talking about Dave Aranda and why trying to call an offense against Aranda's defense is so difficult. He went into detail about that. But he also pointed out sort of the idiosyncrasies of Steve Ensminger's offense, which is different. And look, fans say it, right? Well, Les Miles will just go 2 tight end and a fullback and run power. Well, it's one thing when fans say it, but you have Hugh Freeze say, all we had to work on was the tight end power and play action off of the power, and if you shut that down, then you're good, Mm-hmm. And that's essentially what he said. He said, look, this offense now, they're trying tempo and they're trying RPOs and they're trying different things that makes a defense at least have to work on it during the week.
Well, that's good that you got him.
Yeah,
so
he was great.
Cool score. Yeah, I mean, Matt gets a lot of guests over the course of 15 hours a week. He pulls in a lot. He's got a lot of the regular schmoes like me. Again, 4:15 Tuesday if you want to talk about beer.
I like talking about beer with you.
No, the beer part's fun.
It is fun.
It's the sports part's got to be frustrating for you. Yeah. All right, so we got one of the things he and I talked about in the segment last week that I want to talk about here is the new red shirt rule for football.
Okay.
Where that's a crazy thing.
Yeah.
And all right, so hold that thought. Let's take this final break. He's Matt Moscona. You can follow him on Twitter at Matt Moscona. He says it's something like his same name at Instagram, where there's 500 million people on the planet doing Instagram.
Half a billion.
Billion.
500 million.
That's what I said, 500 million.
Yeah, there's 1 billion people
Wouldn't
on
that be
Facebook.
500 million?
Yeah, and 500 million on Instagram. Okay. It's amazing. If you're not there,
I'm just happy to be here.
You're losing.
I'm Lee Feinswag at Sports 225. We'll be right back.
Well. Looks like someone forgot all neighborhood Breck Parks close at dark.
You want another?
I think they'll pass. Amplified music and sound is prohibited without permission from Breck. No alcoholic beverages on Breck property. Smoking of tobacco products is not allowed. Use of fire is prohibited except in grills. Gotta remember, Breck wants you to have fun, but in the right way. For more info, go to breck.org/HDB.
Coming down the home stretch of another Sports 225. Thanks to John Williams of Think JCW for directing the show. Think JCW is a great place to, social media, video production, websites, all sorts of cool stuff. Did I cover that good, John? All right, good. Go to sports225.com for all the show listings to see when we're on Cox Sports Television. The first airing is 7 a.m. Friday, and it's a little early for me, but people watch it then, and I appreciate it. And
your
also,
DVR, bro.
Yep, find out when it's on YourView, the artist formerly known as Cox 4, and where all the old shows are archived, including this one eventually, and all previous shows of Matt Moscona, where he's way better on this show than he is on his own. Yeah, because, you can't cut loose like this. You can't drop, no, never mind. All right. You and I did talk about a really interesting topic, though, the other day, which was this new redshirt rule that allows kids to play football for 4 games, 1/3 of the season, then declare themselves redshirts, not be charged with the year, and be free to transfer without penalty imposed by their conferences. They go into a database, and I envision like ant races.
Especially for graduates, man. You guys that can go and transfer and play immediately somewhere else. what you're going to see and what you've seen in this week is all across the country this line of demarcation in week 4 where these guys that aren't happy with their situation bolt. And it's not just marginal players, Lee. You got Kelly Bryant, who led Clemson to the college football playoff last year, the quarterback, who lost his job to 5-star freshman Trevor Lawrence this week and says, done. He's leaving Clemson. So now, if you're a coach, you would set your depth and your roster and experience, and that guy is no longer there 4 games into the season. I think I am very much pro student athlete, things that are going to benefit the student athlete, but I think this is an unintended consequence of what is a well-intentioned rule. Yeah. But I don't think this is what they want.
Well, the one that I threw out for him is 2 things that could happen. Is you could have a player revolt in a number of fashions. One is, and I use this scenario, and I'm not implying this is what could happen, but let's just say at LSU where Joe Burrow has done extremely well as quarterback and appears to have that position solidified. Every other quarterback there this week go, okay, we're going to transfer, that we're done because we're going to redshirt and go. And you'd be left with 1 quarterback. Or an entire team that's terribly unhappy because circumstances are really bad at the end of 4 games could say, Coach, we're all done. Good luck to you and to the school. See you. We're all going to transfer with no repercussions.
I think you got 2.
That's not going to happen, we hope, but
There's too much for those guys to lose for it to go to that extreme.
Yeah. All right. Well, food for thought.
Yeah.
All right. Watch Matt Moscona. Listen to Matt Moscona from 3 to 6 on Monday through Friday, 104.5 ESPN, and his various other crazy entities. He's everywhere. He's ubiquitous, and he's a great guest. So thank you, sir.
You got it, dude.
All right. Thanks for watching Sports 225. Good night. Relatively painless.
At carnival time by Baton Rouge Bay, that's the site of my story. At Spanish Town Mardi Gras, things can get blurry. See the mowers march.